Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's Ray here with Wisdom on Wednesday. I'm happy that you chose to hang out with me here again today. Prayerfully, you had a wonderful Mother's Day. Mothers, happy Mother's Day, belated. Hopefully you celebrated your mom if she's still with you. Hopefully you celebrate your wife. Happy Mother's Day. I'm glad that you guys are here today for the subject matter we want to talk about. Preferably it's engaging, preferably something we can talk and discuss about in the comments. Please continue to share our podcast, continue to post it, share it with your friends, let everybody know where you spend time on Wednesdays for Wisdom on Wednesday. As per usual, I've been spending some time with the Lord, and I just want a gem that I want to drop into your heart. I could be a little presumptuous by calling it a gem. You be the judge of that. Stay around to the end and leave a comment and just let me know if it's a gem or not. So wise people, I want to encourage you today to be sure you keep your word. Wise people, all you have is your word. Many people have fond books, famous authors that they quote, movies. You have favorite actors. I appreciate Al Pacino. I appreciate what he brings to cinema. And as many people born in the 70s, I really appreciate the movie Scarface. And I remember this scene vividly where he was at one of his connects and having a meeting, and the connect was asking him an interpersonal question, trying to find out how much integrity he had. And he said it in a thick Colombian accent. He says, all I have is my word, and I'm not willing to break them for anybody. You see, what he was implying was the only thing that he had that was given to him was by God, that God gave him his character, God gave him his name, and God gave him his word. You see, once you compromise your word, once you compromise who you are, people will judge you off of your not being able to hold your truths, not being able to keep your promises, not being able to be where you said you would be. Ultimately, what that does is it impacts your character or how much people can trust you. It doesn't mean the relationship is finished, but you'll always have to consider a great leader always will prefer the truth over an excuse. You see, it's easy to tell somebody why you couldn't, but a leader is looking for you to hold on to that thing. Not necessarily why you couldn't, but own it. You see, because when you own things, you get more trust. When you're willing to say, my bad, I made a mistake. A leader is not looking for somebody that's perfect, but a leader is looking for somebody with strong character. Strong character is not afraid to say, I made a mistake. Strong character is not saying that I'll never make a mistake. I am trying to protect my image. You see, when you're trying to protect your image, you'll do anything to protect your image. But when you understand that I made a mistake and I'm willing to pay the consequences for that mistake, now that leader can trust you with more. I learned this from my ultimate leader and my mother. You see, one time we were living in an apartment building right off of Philadelphia and Lawton. It was one of those apartment buildings where every now and then she sent me to the store to get her some cools that I wasn't supposed to buy, but she still entrusted me to go buy those cools. And occasionally there were some young men in the neighborhood who would give me a hard time because I was new to the neighborhood and they had been there for a lifetime. And so when they saw me walking past them, they would harass me and make me feel bad. Sometimes they would fleece my pockets. So what happened was I had this inherent fear of every time she told me to either go outside, to go to the store. There was something in me that made me feel like if I did what she told me to do, I would have some consequences to pay by the neighborhood riffraff. So on this particular occasion, she told me to take the garbage out. And we lived on the third floor at that particular time. And back in the 80s, we had these brown, tan, big dumpster garbage cans in all the alleys. We didn't have it like today where you can wheel your garbage cans individually out in front of your house and a garbage truck came and picked it up. The garbage trucks used to come through the alleys. So we had this large tan garbage can that sat behind our apartment building. And this particular day, I had just been harassed by the neighborhood riffraff, maybe the day before. And she says, when I get back from the store, I need you to make certain that this garbage is taken outside and put inside that receptacle in the alley. And I said, no problem. I'll have it done by the time you get back. I thought about it. I played around. I meandered and did all types of things I wanted to do versus keeping my word and taking the garbage out the way she wanted to. And then when I figured she was probably a short time away, two things got on my dome. I knew my mother was coming that I was fearful of, and I knew if I went outside, I would possibly run into the riffraff. So I had an idea. Aha! I'll just open up this window on the third floor and I'll throw this garbage bag out in anticipation that it will land inside that giant tan garbage can in the alley. A great idea for an 8-year-old. I knew it would work out in my favor. So I opened up the window. I tossed the garbage bag out with no velocity behind it, but the garbage wasn't in the kitchen. The garbage was out of our house. But when my mother walked past that alleyway, and as any grown woman knows, she recognizes her garbage. I don't have to say anything else. When my mother walked past that alley and she saw her garbage sprawled all across that alley, I got more than a talking to when she got in the house. You understand, two things were happening. First off, I was more afraid of the neighborhood riffraff than my mother. Problem one. Secondly, she told me to take the garbage out. Watch this is important. And I agreed that I would take the garbage out. When she got in the house, the very first thing she said was, "Didn't I tell you to take the garbage out?" And at 8 years old, my wit was trying his best to get the better of me. And I said, I did. That was probably the worst thing I could have did. See, friends, if you're paying attention, she already knew that I was guilty. Secondly, she gave me the opportunity to own it. And I did not understand who I was dealing with, and I did not understand the consequences that soon ensued my immediate future. She was disappointed, and I saw it on her face, and ultimately I was disappointed because you could see it on my face. She let me know her displeasures and ultimately a lesson that I'll never forget. I would never ever want to see the disappointment on my mother's face again, not by making a mistake, but by not owning my mistake is what she was disappointed in. She wasn't trying to raise a perfect boy. She wasn't trying to create a perfect man. But what she was trying to do was create a man who had integrity. A man who recognized when he did something wrong, it didn't mean that he was going to be afraid of making a mistake, but be afraid of not fulfilling and keeping your word. Be afraid of not owning your mistakes. Be afraid of thinking more about looking good than actually trying to be good. You see, friends, it's important for us to keep our words because when we don't keep our word, what people will do will stop trusting us. And you never ever want to be in a space where people stop trusting you, not because you're not trustworthy, but you need to be able to trust somebody that will tell you the truth. So all you have is your word. Word is the things that come out of your mouth, but the things that come out of your mouth are the things that are ultimately in your heart. If you're able to own a mistake, now you can actually be trusted with more to get into more trouble. You see how that works? I went to the military at 17 years old, and we had the opportunity of going to basic training. What basic training ultimately did was strip us down of all of our creature comforts and build us back up. You see, there was a psychology behind that. For us to be unified, we all had to have ugly haircuts. For us to be unified, we all could not call our mothers for the first couple of weeks. For us to be unified, we all read our mail together. For us to be unified, we had to learn, we had to exercise, we did things together. You understand? In order for us to be the fine fighting machines in the U.S. Army, we had to be torn down together and built up together. But what that taught us was, when you made an error, not just one person was in trouble, but the entire platoon was in trouble. If one person snuck some cookies back into the hall, into the barracks from the mess hall, everybody got woke up to do push-ups. So what that taught me was, if I can't own my mistakes, everybody around me will be affected. If I can't be honest when I drop the ball, everybody around me will bear the consequences of my not being able to keep my word. So the military taught me that if you can keep your word, you'll be trusted with promotion. If you can keep your word, you'll be trusted with supervision. If you can keep your word, you'll be trusted for guard duty. You see, guard duty seems menial. Guard duty seems like something you just throw away. But if you think about the concept behind guard duty is the person responsible for watching over all of his fellow soldiers as they rest, as they sleep. But if you're on guard duty, and if you nod off, and if you go to sleep, you don't keep your word that you will stay up for the next 3 hours and make sure everything is okay, everybody in the camp could possibly fall because you did not keep your word that you will stay alert, that you will stay conscious and cognizant of everything that's going on. So please understand, friends, when you don't keep your word to your wife, what can happen is she'll stop trusting you with her emotions. When you can't keep your word to your husband, what will happen is he'll stop trusting you with his heart. When you don't keep your word to your children, what will happen is they'll think that you don't love them. When you don't keep your word to your employees, people will start thinking you're just a number. When you don't keep your word, people will stop trusting you, watch this, with their authentic selves. And they'll start giving you a portion of what they believe you can handle. Keep your word and you'll continue to grow. Keep your word and you'll continue to thrive. Keep your word, and what that'll do is it'll allow you to continue to grow. It'll allow you to be free and allow you to understand that God has more for you. We all make mistakes. We all will fall down sometimes, but we have to be honest with our missteps. We have to be honest with ourselves and let ourselves off the hook. Who are you trying to prove something to? You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. We all err. But when we err, relationships are fortified when you can look into your brother or sister face and say, I dropped the ball. I'm sorry. And what that will do is that will actually make the relationship stronger than it's ever been, because you now have a space of being vulnerable and letting people know that I know I could have done better, but I didn't. That will actually allow you to move into a different space of maturity. It will ultimately make you understand that I have failures, that I have things I need to work on, and it will actually make you less judgmental of other people because you know that you've done the internal work. You've done introspection. You know that you still have work to do. And when you understand you still have work to do, you will also show that same grace to other people, that they also have work to do. So I hope this word was encouraging to you. It was encouraging to me. But you don't have to be afraid of people's thoughts of you. You don't have to be afraid of telling the truth. But what you do need to know is that what you say is what you have to live by. And if you make a promise, you've got to keep it. And if you make a mistake, you've got to own it. Keep in mind, God loves you more than you can possibly imagine. This is Ray with Wisdom on Wednesday. Have yourself a blessed day and a wonderful week. Take care.